Greetings, YouTube. This is a 1950s second to printing, second edition copy of the Machinery's Handbook. It has a paper bag cover, which I'm not removing because the man that used to own it put that on there, and I'm keeping it right where it is. I bought this at a yard sale along with a box full of his tools and taps and things like that. He had a lot of stuff on machining that would be useful for a lathe. I don't own a lathe, so I didn't pick any of that stuff up. But I did pick up a bunch of other things. And this is one of the things I picked up because it was the only copy, only book on the table. This was his personal copy. And he was a fastidious individual. Here he wrote in the front cover of all the pages that he found to be particularly useful. And there are over 1,000 pages in this. But throughout this book, there are little mementos, like charts in here, and I don't know what like this little giveaway uh, chart, which is made in the USA, and it's from the South Bend Lathe Works, which is they make good tools. It's got a chart here for conversions. It's also a 10 thousandths of an inch thick, or yeah, 10 thousandths of an inch thick, so you can use it as a feeler gauge. And oddly, he has a bunch of plastic in here, just plastic sheets, and I don't know why. Some of them are uh, translucent, so he has some translucent ones here of different colors, and he's got General Electric Pocket Guide to Form and Positional Tolerances. So apparently he did some work for that particular company because he's got a lot of stuff involved in that particular field. He did have some tools specific to that industry. There's like notes on math he did, and there's some pictures in here, formulas and calculations he made for different shapes. And this is a Lufkin Tools, um, Standards of Accuracy, the Lufkin Rule Company, um, Saginaw, Michigan, USA, New York, 1935. And it just lets you do conversions and figure out tap sizes and stuff. And this this is 90 years old. And throughout this book, there's just little things like that. He got one thing in here which I thought was very cool, which is this great color purple. I have no idea why he had the great color purple in there, but he had the great color purple in there. I don't know what these films are for. Maybe looking at schematics or reading or checking for filters and colors. I don't have any clue. Um, and he does have notes written in through the books occasion and on certain spots that he found particularly useful. And I was able to go online and find myself a copy of the 27th edition in digital form. So I put that on my phone. And I've never owned a copy of this. I've always thought of getting one, but because I don't do enough of this type of work to really justify having this big bulky thing around, but this one is more than a big bulky book. This is a slice of someone's life. It it smells like a machine shop. Okay, if you've worked in a machine shop and you know what that smell is, this smells like a machine shop. And I wanted this to go to someone that knew what it was and cared. His wife actually asked me if I knew what these tools were, and I said, "Well, I've never been a machinist, but I've done inspection." So he had I picked up a couple of his gauges. And I said, "So I'm familiar with some of this material." And I mean, I have done some very simple work on lathes and milling machines, but nothing all that advanced. I do have a new jet drill press, and I have a cross slide vise, and I've got myself some end mills. So I'm hoping maybe doing some very light machining for my projects, which I thought will be cool because I've never had an opportunity to really do things on that level of accuracy and cut slots and stuff, which will be very, very, very fun. I'm looking forward to that. To the best of my understanding, the guy's name was Cousin, Cousson, Cousin, because it's engraved on some of the tools he had. Um, and it weirdly, he didn't have his name printed on the inside of this. I thought he would. There's some information. It says Manchester because he lived in Manchester, New Hampshire. Um, and like I said, I'm not taking the. he's got the cover taped to this because this little thing right, this was part of the book. He's got this taped to it, so I wouldn't be able to get it out anyway without harming something, and I don't want to harm anything. It does make me smile that he didn't turn the bag inside out, so that you would just get a plain. Because I've done that. I used to keep my first edition Dungeons and Dragons books covered with paper like this, and I would turn it inside out, so all you would see would be a brown outside, and I'd put a little illustration or something on the front. But he didn't seem to care. All he cared about was protecting the book. He was a man of a no nonsense kind of dude. So yeah, this is the 1950 copy of the Machinery's Handbook, and I can't tell you how much this touches me. This connection to a guy who is gone, who understood crafting and making and precision. And I may use this book someday. I may have to look something up in it. I'm not sure. And I got the copy of the 27th edition on my phone. That one runs 3,300 pages. This one's only 1,000. Um, so yeah, they're big books. They're very useful, but they're big books. Um, but yeah, if you ever need to know like areas and circumferences of circles, there's an entire chart in here that goes from units of one, I think, to 200. So if you want to know what that is, you can just look it up. And you don't have to do the math, which is kind of handy because I don't like doing math. To be brutally honest with you, maths is not my strong suit. So this has been the 1950 edition of the Machiner's Handbook, and the legacy of a man who's gone, but who I will hopefully carry on. Whoops, sorry, carry on that tradition into the future.